As we now know what Janapads and Mahajanapads are, let's take a closer look at Magad, one of the most famous Mahajanapads of those times. This map shows the area of Magad some 5 centuries ago, that is, for some 5 centuries BCE. And also, Magad gave India two greatest empires on earth, that is, the Maurya and the Gupta empires. Apart from that, Magad also had two very powerful rulers, Bimbisara and Ajatasattu, who used all possible means to conquer other Janapads. It is a well-known fact that Ajatasattu brutally killed his father Bimbisar in lure of money and property, that is the kingdom. The type of government that we found in Magad was monarchy. That is, the king was there who used to rule the people. If we see geographically, Magad was surrounded by river Ganga and Son, that is on the north and towards the south. Having a river in proximity meant good transport, good water supply and good land fertility, as these rivers used to bring a lot of fertile soil with them every rainy season. Also, Magad was quite close to the forest area. That means if we had a good amount of forest with us, we can go for a good amount of shelter, we can go for making carts, we can go for chariots, and we can go for elephants. Yes. Now this word elephant, this animal elephant, was considered an important thing in the kingdom of Magad. And also the proximity of iron ore which was found near the Magad area, which is present day Chota Nagpur plateau. The people were able to create good amount of tools and weapons of high quality, and after capturing elephants and giving them training, it meant a good amount of army strength. So we find that all these things, all these physical resources gave a good amount of strength to the Magad people, the Magad kingdom. These Magad kings used to train their elephants and they used to let them free in the wars, which was a great strategy by then kings. Magad's control over the trade routes of the Ganga, Gandak and Son rivers provided it substantial revenues too, as it was a major trade route. It is a well-known fact that Alexander's soldiers were scared by these armies. Some 2300 years ago, Alexander of Macedonia, with the wish to conquer the whole world, when reached the banks of river Bias of the Indian subcontinent, had to retreat without moving eastwards as the soldiers refused. We see this bust of Alexander, which is kept in Europe. These soldiers refused because they were scared, as they had heard that the rulers in India have vast armies of foot soldiers, have elephants and chariots with them, which they were afraid that they will not be able to conquer them. They pressurized the king Alexander, as they won't be going further to fight with these Indian kings. Let's take a closer look at Vaji or Vriji, another Mahajanpad of that era. Just above on the northeastern side was Vaji from Magad. This was Magad, we have already seen in the map. Let us take a look again of Magad. So this is Magad, and nearby that is on the top side of it, it was Vaji, that is on the northern front. Now what was the scenario of Vaji? The type of government was a kind of republic or oligarchy, unlike Magad where we found monarchy. There were three rivers, Gandak, Kosi and Ganga, in west, east and south respectively. That is, on the western side it was Gandak, on the eastern side it was river Kosi which was flowing, and on the southern side it was river Ganga. It had resources, the water resources, on three sides. While Magad became a powerful kingdom, Vaji, with its capital at Vaishali, the present day Bihar, was under a different form of government known as Gan or Sangha. Gan or Sangha. In Gan or Sangh, there were not one but many rulers. Unlike monarchy where we only had one king or one Raja, in Gan or Sangh there were several rulers. Sometimes even thousands of men ruled together, each one was known as Rajas. Just think of a scenario that in a group of people, everyone is a king. Everyone is a king. So such was the scenario of Vaji. These people, these Rajas used to get together, they used to perform every kind of rituals together, they used to meet in assembly, they used to decide what had to be done and how things should be made or how things should be done through discussions and debates. Kind of a parliament or kind of meetings that held in present day world. For example, if they were attacked by an enemy, they met to discuss what should be done to meet the threat. However, women, das and kamkars could not participate in these assemblies. Well, this was the drawbacks of these Ganga and Sanghs. But otherwise, this was a good method. And you will be surprised to know that Mahatma Buddha and Mahavir, also called as the Lord Mahavir and Lord Buddha, belonged to these Ganga and Sanghas. They were the Rajas of those times who used to sit together in these assemblies. There's a famous story regarding Ajatasattu and Vajis. It happened that near the Ganga river there was a village where a diamond mine was found. It is a prominent story. A diamond mine was found and it was considered mutually, or they both agreed, the Vajis and the Magadha Empire under Ajatasattu, that the whatever produce of the diamond mine would be, it will be divided amongst themselves. That will be divided. The one part will go to Ajatasattu and the other one to the Vajis. But Ajatasattu, being lazy enough, he never thought of taking his produce. He never thought of taking his part, and the Vajis took off the material, never expecting Ajatasattu to come ever. After years and years, when Ajatasattu got to know about it, he got angry about this and he thought to attack Vajis. For this, he sent his minister Vasakar to Lord Buddha. It is considered that Ajatasattu was a good friend and good disciple of Lord Buddha at that time. So what he did was he sent his chief minister Vasakar to Lord Buddha to get his advice on the matter, whether he should attack on Vajis, and if yes, then how. Then Lord Buddha asked whether the Vajis met frequently in full assemblies. When he heard that they did, he replied that Vajis would continue to prosper as long as they meet all these things. They gave him 7 reasons. Mahatma Buddha gave him 7 reasons that if they held full and frequent public assemblies, rather never be able to get victory over them. Until they met and act together, things will continue, they will prosper. They will prosper if they followed established rules. They will prosper if they respected, supported and listened to elders. Vaji women were not held by force or captured. Chaityas, that is the local shrines or the temples of those times, were maintained in both towns and villages, and where wise saints who followed different beliefs were respected and allowed to enter and leave the country freely. Such kind of city will always prosper and will never get conquered easily. Let's see another scenario of the world. Here we have a world map, and this area in red circle, we are pointing towards Greece, that is the city Athens in Greece. This is a magnified look here. Some 2500 years ago, that is in the same era when mahajanapads were flourishing in India, the people of Athens set up a form of government which was called a democracy. Here people used to gather together to govern the country, which lasted for about 200 years. All free men were over the age of 30 were recognized as full citizens, unlike today when the usual age is 18 years when the people are recognized as full citizens. In those times it was 30 years considered by the people of Athens. There was an assembly that met at least 40 times a year to decide on important matters. That is, all those people who were considered as citizens, they used to come together, sit in an assembly and think of the matters which were of importance. All citizens could attend these meetings. Appointments for many positions were made through lottery. It was a good system then, that any position, for example, of president or maybe vice president or whosoever the leaders were, they were made appointed by the use of lottery. All those who wanted to be chosen gave their names, and then some were selected through the lottery. Citizens were expected to serve in the army and the navy. Now see this thing, all those citizens who were there in Athens, they were expected to come and serve the army and navy. However, women were not considered as citizens. We can see how masculine society was that, or how anti-feminist society that was. Also, many foreigners who lived and worked in Athens as merchants and craftspersons did not have rights as citizens there. Besides, there were several thousand slaves in Athens who worked in mines, coal fields, and other fields, households, and workshops. They too were not treated as citizens. Can we think that the above that we have just read was true democracy? Can such a thing will be called as true democracy? Well, this is the end of the chapter Kingdoms, Kings, and the Early Republic. Thanks a lot.